Hey, what's up, YouTube? I know it's been a while since you've seen this ugly face, but we're back at you again today with a new video. So stay tuned, enjoy the action, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, so today's recipe is, this is what we've got. We want to do some smoky maple bacon. We've got a fresh pork loin from our Kroger's here locally. We picked up this morning, we went shopping this morning, we picked up a few cool things. We got some cool smoke, which is Tuffy Stone. That's his barbecue sauce, red sauce. And then we picked up some Plowboys barbecue yard bird rub. And don't let it fool you, it was created for chicken, but it's made for pork, okay? And they're 4-time American Royal World Champs, so we're gonna give it a shot. And of course, we've got the little basting brush here, but that's what we're doing today. We're gonna go out and fire up old Smokey here, our Fornetto, and get it running. It's gonna take about an hour and a half or 2-hour cook. But before we go out and get that cooking, I want to get this pork loin rubbed. So of course, before we do, we've got to make sure that we take care of ourselves. So pork loin is not an inherently fat muscle. And if you know, barbecue and fat equals flavor, right? So that's one of the reasons why we're adding the fat to it with the bacon, is because it's going to need a little. I'm going to trim off some of the silver skin, but this piece of meat is very tender. It's going to be very tender in your mouth. If cooked right, it can be very moist. It just doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of flavor. It's not going to be like a rib or something like that. It's going to give you a ton of flavor. You're going to have to put the flavor on this piece of meat, okay? So you can see here, it's just got this one piece of fat cap, silver skin on the back. We're going to trim off with quite a bit of that. But as you'll see, there's just not a lot of marbling in this piece of meat. That's why you're going to want to add some fat to it, I think. You may not, but in most cases you're going to want to add some fat to it. So we're just going to trim up a whole bunch of this here. Okay. Alright, so as you can see there, I got most of that silver skin off. There's a big difference between fat and silver skin. You'll be able to feel the difference of it. But that top layer of silver skin is off of it. Now we've got a nice piece of meat. Again, if I was going to be in a competition, I would really round these edges and get this in to be one symmetrical. I trim that top and just make it a very symmetrical muscle. But for what we're doing in the backyard, we're going to be just fine. If I was doing this for a competition, I probably wouldn't have chose that exact piece of meat because of the amount of silver skin. I wasn't very selective when I picked this out because I knew it was going to be fine once I got it trimmed up, and I didn't really care what it looked like from a symmetrical standpoint. I was more worried about getting these rubs on there and seeing what they're going to be like. So again, this is a Plowboys barbecue yard bird rub. Okay, it says it's created for chicken but made for pork, so we're going to give it a shot here. They are the 4-time world champs at the American Royal, so interesting. Not as strong as I thought it would be. Let's give her a good coat in here. And again, my impression of the salt, it doesn't have a lot of smell either. Not like some of the other rubs that we've used on pork before. It's a little sweet, a little tangy, almost like it's got a mesquite flavor in it of some kind. So not bad, but it's definitely not as strong or overpowering as some of the pork rubs that are on the market. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to open up the bacon, and then I'm going to wrap it all the way down to where it's good and covered up, and then we're going to let it set for just a little bit. So we've kind of just rolled that bacon around in that excess seasoning just to give it a little on top of there too. Wash our hands real quick and we'll go outside. So we picked up a new chimney today. It's the Oklahoma Joe. As you can see, it's much bigger in diameter. It's got a lot more holes. They say it's going to do twice the charcoal in half the time. So we're going to give it a shot and see what it does. And as always, when we're smoking meat, we're going to use royal oak, all natural, or hardwood. I use a lot of royal oak hardwood as well. But right now I got the all natural, and then we're going to use an apple smoking chip to give it that desired sweetness. So now we're going to light the cubes. And we'll let them do them deal. While we do that, as old Stale Cracker likes to say on TikTok, while we wait, we're gonna hydrate. All right, y'all, so you might notice we got a different scenery here. Well, that's because we moved to our new resort where we're staying here in our fifth wheel in Willis, Texas, because my job switched over here to Willis. Same company, but now I have my own store here. So that's why the scenery has changed. But some interesting news, if you didn't catch it earlier in the video, after much discussion and things like that, we decided we want to start doing a little competition cooking, just, you know, for fun more than anything. I don't care, you know, I know who likes my food and who doesn't, and that's fine, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun, a lot of family fun, something we can all do as a family, something we all enjoy doing. As you can tell in our videos, we love getting together and just cooking. And so we're going to do it for competition a little bit, you know. And a lot of competition is excuse me, sorry, son. It helps charities mostly of some sort, either it be a baseball team or an actual charity or a scholarship fund or something like that. So, you know, why not enjoy your weekend with your family, doing what you love and helping somebody out, right? So that's the main reason. If we win something, great. It'd be fantastic if we did. If we don't, that's fine too. We're there to have fun and just enjoy doing what we like to do. So, but that's where we've been, and just trying to get the move done and get over this new store and get it straightened out and taken care of. That's why I haven't done any YouTube videos in a while, and I apologize for that. We'll try to do more and more often moving forward, but that's where I've been, just working. Everybody's good, and that's where we're at. So as we wait on the old chimney to get rolling, we're just gonna sit here and drink a cold one, and we'll be back at you. Okay, so as you can see, the 2 Weber lighter cubes did their job. So did the chimney. Those coals are hot and ready to go in. All right, so we got her shut down now. We got our first set of wood in there. Anyways, now that we'll throw some more apple on there before we put the meat on, and get it up to 225. 250, and this cook will last about an hour and 45 minutes or so, or until the temperature internal on that piece of meat is 145. All right, so we got our 205 degrees right now, so that's good. Got that applewood smoke going. As you'll see, the grill's hot with good clean smoke, what we want. Stick our probe here kind of long ways up into the muscle. And as you can see, our internal temp right now is 59 degrees. So now we just do a lot of hydrating, a lot of cold beer, and we sit back and we monitor. If you don't have a digital thermometer on your meat, shame on you. It is the best way to make sure you're cooking meat to the proper temperatures. And I'll walk inside with my little pager here, go do what we got to do, sit back and drink a couple cold beers, and just watch the temperature rise. Every time you take the lid off of that, you're stopped cooking, right? You're setting yourself back on smoking. So the longer you can keep that lid on there, the better it's going to be. And with this, it really helps you. All right, so we're 30 minutes in. The internal temperature of the meat is 88 degrees now. And so I just wanted to come outside and make sure the pit is on temp, and she is. She's running right about 205 degrees, so that's perfect. I could kick it up a little bit. I can open up a vent just a hair. Get a little more flow, and that's going to put her up there 220 pretty quick, but she's doing just fine. 200 just fine. Low and slow, baby. We doing just fine. See you in a little bit. All right, y'all, we back in the kitchen now. We got the meat's about 125 degrees. We've been in about an hour and 15 minutes, so it's time to start making some homemade macaroni and cheese. And I'm gonna flip you around here and show you the ingredients we're gonna use. So of course we got large noodles, chicken broth, stick butter, and those 3 types of cheese. We're gonna put in 2 cups of water, 3 cups of chicken broth. While we're waiting on that to boil and to put the noodles in, we're gonna go ahead and make our sauce in the cast iron skillet here, because that's what we're gonna bake it in as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a half a stick of butter. We'll let that melt. We're on low heat on this. Of course, we're on high heat on the back. Low heat here on the front. We're gonna let that melt. And I almost forgot to start the show is the heavy cream or the whipping cream liquid. We're gonna use about a cup or a cup and a half of that. Okay, we got the butter melted. Now we're going in with the cup of heavy cream. We'll give that a good stir and mixing up with the butter. And now you're going to put 1 handful of each of the 3 cheeses in the heavy whipping cream and butter. Okay, so we've got 1 handful of all 3 of the cheeses in it, and we're just going to stir it until it gets creamy. Our water is boiling, so we're going to put in the pasta. Okay, so it's a little bit runny for what I like, so I'm going to add a little bit more cheese to it. Alright, so I've added 1 more handful of each of the 3 cheeses here, and it's getting a lot thicker the way I like it. You can also add cream cheese to this, and it'll thicken it up and make it creamy. I don't like cream cheese, so I don't add cream cheese. It's heavy cream, butter, and cheese. So the pasta, we're cooking about 7 minutes or al dente. We don't want it fully cooked because we're going to dump it in this, mix it around, cover it up, and bake it some more. But for now, the cheese is pretty good, so we're going to turn the fire off of that cheese and just let it sit there as a creamy sauce and wait for these noodles to get ready. Alright, so the noodles are al dente. They've been there about 7-8 minutes. They're about 70% cooked, 80% cooked. We're going to drain them. We've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Now you can blanch these with cold water too if you're not ready for it. That way it stops the cook. If you don't have the sauce ready, we do. So I've got it mixed in the sauce. Now we just got to incorporate it all together. One thing I also want you to remember, if you're cooking with cast doesn't stop cooking just because you turn the fire off, okay? So I stirred this several times while we were waiting on the noodles to get done, because that cast was still trying to cook this cheese. It's still hot. So we've got a good mix together now, smooth back out. We're going to top it with the remainder of these boxes, these packages of cheese, and then we're going to bake it for about 20 minutes. That's it. All right, YouTube. We're an hour and 53 minutes in. We're at 144 degrees out of 145, so the meat's almost done. We're about to get a first taste of this cool smoke made by Tuffy Stone, 6-time world champ here. Pouring it in the cup. We'll take our little brush when we go outside and give us a nice little coat. First taste here, let's see what we think. Oh my. That's good stuff right there. Let's get outside and brush this here while we got a chance. Alright, so we're 2 hours in. We have not touched the fire at all, and this is still cooking at 200 degrees. So we're about to give you first look here, because I haven't seen it either. Find out what she's doing. Man, oh man. It sure looks good. Got the barbecue sauce there, got the thermometer here. Hour 55, 56 minutes at 144 degrees. We almost there. Go ahead and get this barbecue sauce over here so we can give her a nice little rub down. Or 5 or 6 minutes rather. Excuse me. So we're at 144 now. I'm gonna give it a little spot check with the old school thermometer, just to make sure what we got going on here. Looks like 145 to me. Says we still got 1 degree to go, so it's pretty daggum accurate. Still feel the heat coming up. Give her just another few minutes. All right, we're at 145. We're gonna pull her off. I think I've already cut into it. Let's see what it looks like. Yes, sir. Look at that juice. Still super juicy. cooked all the way through and through. Give it a try. It's got a really great smoke flavor. It's really good. The rub is not super overpowering, which I didn't figure it would be based off my initial assessment of it. It's got a really nice smoke flavor to it. The barbecue sauce is fantastic. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and dip a little bit. Very moist. Very tender. Really good piece of meat. Mama wants a bite too. Pretty good, huh? Well, let's check out this macaroni and cheese, because it ought to be ready also. Well, there you have it, guys. 2 hours, smoked pork loin, homemade mac and cheese. That does it for today. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We're going to chow down. See you next time.